I am the Tribune. My name is Joshua, and I'm here to tell you guys today that God either laughs at or totally ignores your enemies. Now, before you guys run away with this, I'm not saying that God doesn't take your enemies seriously. He takes them brutally seriously, more seriously than you take them yourself. But we're going to go over two sides in this topic. First side is out of the gate. You have to be a Christian to enjoy these benefits, and you have to become his friend. Because these principles actually only apply to those groups. So for the people who are Christians and are his friends, then you can operate in this. People who are not, I hope this video encourages you to go in that direction, because it's amazing. This alone is incredible. And I can't imagine not living with it. I cannot live without this principle and this side of God, this character, this side of his character. So the first thing is, if you do have an enemy and it's worthy of you, you have to ask God what he thinks about it. Now, sometimes things aren't your real enemy, and he'll still think something about it and want you to do something, or he'll do something. Okay? But we are going to talk in generalities today because it's a very deep topic. So the first thing you got to do is ask God, what do you think about this situation? What do you think about this enemy I'm having, this person that's being used? All these things you have to ask him. So the first thing is very easy. He'll say ignore it. He'll say nothing. If he says nothing, that means that you're supposed to ignore it. That means he's not concerned about it. That means it's not going to stop you at all. That means that he is going to take care of that thing himself, or it'll just not affect you. And he'll teach you how to ignore it and move on, and that'll make you very powerful. The second thing he will say is he will give you strategy. He will tell you exactly what they're thinking. He will tell you exactly what your enemies are planning. He will give you insight on how they plan to come against you. And this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I have had so many people be used to come against me that it doesn't even concern me anymore. It's not even a problem for me. And actually, it means I'm doing something good. But I have seen God tell me, listen, this is exactly what these people are being used to do. This is what they're thinking. He'll give me a blueprint of everything that happened. I understand it fully. And then what will happen is I don't have to do anything. I just have to watch things play out how he said they would play out, and they always do. It never fails. I've never had this fail one time. Not even one time this never failed. That's why my enemies are so shocked a lot of the time. People who are used to come against me for whatever reason, okay, they're sent to distract me, whatever it is. They are shocked normally because they don't understand I have insight. I have total understanding of what's going on. So while they think they're trying to manipulate me and they think that I don't understand, they are just falling into place, and I allow it. It's the most brilliant thing. And God allows it. Because after you allow these things to fall into place, sometimes you have a part in it. Like maybe you'll have a discussion. Or sometimes you'll just watch things fall into place. But the result's always the same in this situation. They are the ones who fall into the pit, not me. Never. Never. The only way I fall into a pit is if I'm not hearing God. If I'm not hearing God or listening to him, and I'm just going to go on my own agenda. Let me tell you, I'm going to work out of my emotions. I'm going to tell them this and do this. If I go in an emotional moment, then maybe I'll be in the pit with them. But I've learned that's the most unwise thing to do. The best thing is to listen to God. He explains every single thing they're going to do, and you watch it happen. And he even tells you if you need to do anything to defend yourself or say anything, he already tells you in advance what to do. It's impossible to defeat this strategy. And the funniest thing about builders is this. I'm talking to people who are building, people who are doing unusual building with God, which means that he sometimes puts you in pits, like I explained. He puts you in the cave and in the dungeon, and it's really a conference room, and it's shielded. It's shielded so that you can actually have time with him, and there's covering and provision in that cave. Now, this is very important to listen to. When you're in the cave with God, you don't look like you're successful. In fact, you don't even look like you're hearing from God. It looks like you're a fool. That's the best part. Because he will allow you to look like a fool, which attracts the enemy, and he doesn't have revelation. So what happens is he uses people, okay, and situations, but we're talking about people right now, to come, and they think that you're an idiot. It's so wonderful. Let me tell you, this is my stuff right here. I love this. It excites me. People think you're an idiot because you're in a cave with God. They don't understand what's going on, so they think you're not smart. They don't think you're intelligent. When really, I'm not only intelligent in the cave, but I'm extremely wise because I'm with the counselor. And the counselor gives me classified information on everything. So I'm in the cave sitting with God and we're talking. And somebody's like, what is this guy doing sitting in the cave? He looks like he's looking at a wall, just watching the ants go down the wall. What the heck is he doing? I'm going to afflict him. But they don't realize that right in front of me is the creator of the universe, and I'm having a discussion with him. So what does God do? He says, don't worry, they don't know. But I don't want you to get any blood on your hands. I just want you to watch, and I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. And then the craziest thing is I already know what's in the cave. Since I went down in there with him, I already know where all the dangers, all the booby traps that I explained to you, I already know where all those things are. So sometimes he'll either lead them into a trap himself, or he'll say, just walk over here with me. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we're going over to that giant bat that's in the corner. That's what he's there for. That bat that I thought was there to hurt me, that giant monster that's just sitting in the corner, it's actually there to protect me. And he says, come on, Joshua, come on over here, because these people think you're an idiot. They think you're mad. So come on, let them come in. Don't do anything to them. Let them come in. They're going to fall into this trap, and they're going to be removed. Because I'm concerned about building, Joshua. So I follow them into the corner, and they follow me right over, like he told me they would, and I don't have to do anything. And then, you know what happens. They are not a problem anymore after that. And they don't understand what happened. They have no idea, and that's the best part. And even though I'm saying this, they still can't figure it out. It's totally a mystery that people who attack builders could never understand, and they will just keep falling into traps. And it creates more torment for them, which is a very sad thing. Because people who cause more torment for themselves trying to attack us, they don't understand what they're doing. So this is what will happen. Another side of it is he will tell you every single thing that is going to be said. Let's say it's a conversation. He will actually sit down, and you already have studied your enemies. It could be a situation too. It's really important. It could be a situation. He'll have you study the situation, see its patterns, that they can't help. The situation can't help it. The people cannot help the patterns. Once you study the patterns, he will actually explain to you what will happen with those patterns when you need to know, so that you're never trapped. And then this is the climax of the situation. He thinks it's funny. You have to understand this, because they're trying to come against his purpose. People who are very prideful, who think they're just going to just start destroying people who they think don't have value, and really they're sitting with God, God laughs at that, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't, they can't, their plans are going to come to foolishness. Their plans their plans put themselves in trouble. This all comes from friendship with Christ. Sometimes he will even say, allow them to afflict you. Now, many people don't end up getting to this point with God because it's too scary, and they're not willing to see the rewards on the other side of something like this. There has been times where I've let enemies afflict me for a time because God said I should not do anything, and it ended up working in my absolute favor. It's crazy. It is so crazy. Now, you have to hear God to be able to know when to do that. But something else about God is really important. He loves your enemies too. He really does. He loves the people who are used by Satan to afflict you. So you have to keep that in mind, and it helps you not have emotions about it. Because really it's about God getting things in line, and hopefully they'll be witnessed to. And if not, then there's nothing you could do about that. But it takes the responsibility off of you, because it's not your responsibility. It's his responsibility. But he loves your enemies. So he will deal with them and give them consequences. But that doesn't mean he doesn't want them to get to know him. So our job as builders and as generals in this era, okay, is to make sure that we become friends with God and think of our enemies how he thinks about them, and make sure we follow whatever strategy he says to follow, no matter how difficult it looks, no matter how much you think you have to endure. Because he's not going to ask you to endure something with an enemy that won't bring you treasure out of it. And at very least, on top of the treasure, you get super strong. And that's really the point. It's not really about blueprints then. It's about your insides being able to sustain what he's put inside you. So another thing about his strategies is he likes to train you with them. So he will create a controlled environment for you. Allow enemies to come in and then teach you how to deal with certain situations. Not remove them, but keep them in a controlled environment. It's practice. And that's something I don't understand, that we all don't understand. People go crazy about sports. They just, this is a whole nother situation. People go crazy about sports. They worship these athletes because they can shoot or pass or something, okay? But they never take into consideration that God is the absolute best coach in the world ever. He actually is a coach. He is a trainer. So wouldn't it be really insane if an NBA player was in practice complaining about the drills that they need to do in order to win a title, an NBA championship? Wouldn't that be really insane? I'd argue that that person shouldn't win the championship. I actually argue he won't. He doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it because he's not willing to put in the work and training with the coach. And it's hard. So this is another thing he'll do with enemies. It's another facet of him that we won't ignore. He loves training us with situations and people who are used as our enemies, so that when we get to the place where we're operating with him in purpose, this is very important. When we get there, we won't be robbed. And you think I'm talking about being robbed of them taking the treasure. No, it's impossible for them to take the treasure. I'm talking about being robbed of your joy. I'm talking about being robbed by your peace. I'm talking about being stripped of all the work that you put into and on the journey, and then coming and then getting mad because somebody is attacking you and not trusting God enough to know everything he did to show you a prototype in the preparation stage is everything he's going to do over here, and you don't have to worry about it, and you can actually enjoy what you're doing. This is the ultimate goal. And I have to leave you with that because it's too powerful. Hail Jehovah.